Welcome back to another pen talk. Today we're going to talk about a variety of pens that you see in front of you. Those of you that have watched some of my other videos may know that I love vintage and I enjoy shopping for vintage on eBay. And lately I've been finding some very interesting buys, which we'll take you through some of them right now. The first one up is a Croxley pen. Got some nice sunlight coming in. It's made in England, or Great Britain, as is on the barrel. The pen came to me completely restored from an American vintage pen supplier on eBay. The price was $59 delivered. I'm very happy with the pen. One of the reasons why I chose this one is I don't have any Croxley pens. They have an interesting history. The Dickinson Croxley Company. It was in England. A lot of times the stationery people got involved in pens. It also has a very nice nib on it, a little bit of a stub on it. Some decent flex, so that's what's nice about it. It is inked up, so not really set up to do writing at the same time, but we'll give it a shot here. A little bit of a hard start, but this is a little bit of a stubbish nib, so one can expect that. Very smooth, and as you can see, gives you some nice line variation. So all in all, a very good purchase from my perspective. I love the acrylic colors that are in here. Again, something a little bit different than I have. The design on the clip with the little triangles. And as we turn it around, we'll see that they're also reflected in the lever. Just an interesting design of a British pen manufacturer that many of you may not be aware of. If you follow Graham Mia Pens, he's done a few reviews on those. Then we're going to go to a classic, those of you that have followed vintage pens. As you can see, it's a Sheaffer white dot, which is what they put into their top-of-the-line pens, giving them the lifetime warranty. This pen needed some restoring when I bought it, but at the price of about $22 delivered, I felt it was a good investment and good buy. And what really attracted me to this pen is many of the pens of this with this green jade type plastic, many of them have faded and discolored, and this one, the color is absolutely great on it. So we open it up, we'll take a look at the standard Sheaffer nibs. Got to remember to get the light properly. These nibs are mostly stiff, not exactly my style, but I wanted to invest in the pen. I have a couple of these green pens. Most of them are not in as good condition as this one, except like in the auction it mentioned that there was some denting in the band, but I don't consider that to be anything significant. The rest of the pen is in excellent condition. I have not inked up this pen since restoring it, putting on a bladder and putting in a bladder. We're going to do the Waterman Serenity ink as we've done before. So we'll insert up to the top of the nib. You hear a little bit of bubbling going on. Just going to do one fill. And as we know, the important recapping of the ink. I'll do a quick wipe on the nib. And we'll bring out my latest paper of choice, which is Clairefontaine. So this is a pen you will definitely probably want to cap. And as you can see, once it's capped, it fits nicely in the hand. And as I expected, an extremely fine nib. Very fine. Very stiff, but that's what these pens are known for. Seems to be writing fine. Lays down a decent amount of ink. The pen does feel, the nib does feel a little scratchy. So I would probably do a little bit of buffing on this nib and fine tuning. But I'm certain that nothing is going to change the fact that this is just a very, very fine nib. So people who love fine nibs might want to take a look at maybe picking up one of these pens. As we can know, they're extremely affordable. And for $20 with a vintage pen with a gold nib, definitely an interesting investment. Continuing on with our selection here. This one is one that I got in a recent auction. It's Conway Stewart number 12. I don't have a number 12. I have a couple other Conways, and I plan to do a video on my Conway Stewart collection. A nice engraving on the barrel. This one, I replaced the sack on it, had to do some cleaning. I did a video on restoring vintage, and this one followed that pretty good. As you see, I have a few pens that are open with new bladders on them, so before I assemble them, we're going to talc the bladder. Make the insertion easier, make certain it stays dry inside, and I will do what I usually do is I'll align the nib with the filler, which is what I like. As you can see, it goes in very easily. One of the reasons I was attracted to this pen is like many Conway Stewarts, this has a nice nib on it. It's on the small side, but they generally have some decent flex, and as you can see, the tipping material is fairly generous on here, so I expect a medium to broad line with a decent amount of flex. We'll do just one pump. Again, I haven't decided on what I'm going to use as daily writers in this selection, so we're not going to completely fill them with ink. I will probably drain them and clean them before I do anything else. So we'll bring back the pad. Hopefully the writing will be as I expect it. I apologize about the shadows. My first impression is the nib is great. It's smooth, lays down a really nice patch of ink, fairly wet. And let's see how the pen flexes. I mean, that's a decent fine line, and it just is nice and soft, which is what I enjoy, and what is also typical of these vintage Conway Stewart pens. They were mostly all made in the 50s. They were made very well, excellent materials, and they do restore nicely. Pens on the small side, but sometimes you don't need a large pen to make a statement. Next, we're going to go into another pen that has a little bit of a storied past. These last three pens that are left on the table were pens that I got from a person who's put up a lot of vintage pens, estate sale. These are people that find pens, don't invest in understanding them or looking at them, but pretty much put them up on eBay, and it's a sold as is without any guarantees with them. So you really need to understand the pens, what you're getting, and decide whether there's something you want to invest in, and also may have the time and materials and energy to restore them. So this next one is a brand which you may not recognize the pen from what's there, but this is a Wasp. I did a video on Wasp pens. I really just enjoy that these are a low-end Sheaffer pen. Excellent colors, nice design. They do clean up well. Similar to what I mentioned about Conway Stewart's, is they were made out of good materials even though they were on the low end. So we will talc the sack. Insert it into the barrel. I make certain that these all work well. Sometimes you need to do some fine-tuning and cleaning, but that's just a process that I enjoy doing. I get into it, and I love the results. One of the things about this pen that makes it unique, when it came to me, the original nib was shot. It actually had corroded and just fell right off of the feed. So I happened to have a fairly decent supply of vintage nibs. So I found one that was almost the same size, and the one that was in there was steel. So I replaced it with a nice warranted gold nib that seems to have some nice tipping material on it. We're going to swing around here to hopefully minimize it. This is a pen also. It's a little bit on the short side, so posted, it fits nicely in the hand. It's light, the balance is good. So this is the first time writing with a Wasp pen in which I replaced the nib. And this nib is just excellent. Extremely soft. This is softer than the Conway Stewart. You can do a fine line, and wow. And it does railroad. So the feed probably was not designed to work with a nib like this. So when you do that, you're going to have to be careful about the flow. But the fact that the nib does have that amount of flex to it, and we'll just take our time, is amazing. So another pen I've restored, exceeding my expectations. Probably needs a little bit more adjustment on the feed and the nib, but I'm just doing this for the first time, so you have to bear with me. Yeah, it looks like the feed just really exhausts itself very quickly. So I'll probably disassemble this and open up that channel and put more flow of the ink through the feed to the nib. The other thing with this pen is there's only a few threads that catch on the cap, but it's enough to secure the cap. So that's all that matters. I did a little adjustment to give myself more thread connections. So the next pen in this group, and that Wasp pen cost me like 13 bucks. A little bit over 13. I got the whole selection for about $40 delivered with shipping. So part of the selection, which I thought might be the best one of the group, is this Waterman. I love Watermans. This is probably from the 40s. You know, chrome trim on it, but still the box lever. Interesting green, which I don't have anything like this color. You can see there's some wear and age to the barrel. You know, it's a little bit scratched up, but it cleaned up nicely. And the nib looks nice. It's an accountant nib, so it's probably not going to have any real flexibility to it, but let's assemble this and give it a shot. As you know, some of you may have tried this. Working live in front of the camera is always an interesting experiment. So we're going to come in here and let's flip over the page. This is a Clairefontaine pad, which I've gone to use because it's a 90-gram paper, and I just like the extra thickness compared to Rhodia, and the nice bubbling there. So that's why we've gone over to Clairefontaine for this, and I also use Clairefontaine for most of my daily writing. I take a lot of notes, and I really enjoy the paper. And this nib feels very much like the Sheaffer nib. It's an accountant nib. It is extremely fine. It needs some smoothing, but that's something to be expected. And there is zero flex to this. With just a little bit of pressure, it does put down some decent amount of ink. Not a lot. Yeah, it's pretty dry. But this is a fine nib. As you can see, it fits good in the hand unposted, but you know, it also can be posted, and very light pen, very good balance. So I enjoy adding this to my collection, and we'll fine-tune those nibs. I may do something on nib. A lot of people have done nib videos on the internet, so there's no real uniqueness there. This is the last pen of the group. It's a Tiger pen. It's a German piston filler, and when I got it, it was in sad condition. Thankfully, the ink was all something that could be water cleaned. So I soaked it for a couple days, and each time I dumped out the water, it looked like ink. So there was a lot of ink in here, and the pen came apart. This is the cap is nice. I polished it up. It's almost like a plain brass. Some nice detailing there in the band at the bottom of the cap. Interesting, you know, I would call it German engineering and design. And here we have on the cap Tiger. Not a lot on the internet about this. Thankfully, the whole thing came apart. The nib is in decent condition. Looks like just a gold-plated steel nib. So nice Bakelite, or sorry, a hard rubber feed, ebonite feed. The barrel cleaned up nice. There's a good clear section there, which is very typical of piston filler pens from Germany. As I said before, it's good that this came apart the way that it did. So what we have here is this is the piston rod, and it's missing the material that would be there to seal it. So there's the looked like it could have been cork that was there in place. So this is something I'll probably take to a pen show and work with one of the pen repairers to see if we can get something to fit there to be a seal in the piston. Interesting screw rod here to control the piston. Seems to be made out of aluminum, which I think is interesting. So the pen itself is ready to go, except for having the seal put on. And this is a little piece that fits over the end. The blind caps fits on that. So all in all, I enjoyed this, and it cost me a whole $6.50 for some history there. So that's it for today's video. Hopefully you found it enjoyable, educational, give you a view of maybe some parts of the pen world that you may not get much experience with. So have a good day. Have some great writing experiences. Later. Bye.